All right, seventh grade, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to this YouTube video / ed puzzle, depending on where you're viewing it. Today we're going to talk about location. Now, we've been talking about the 5 themes of geography. The first one is location. Okay, kind of introduced some history basics the other day. One of those things we talked about was geography. Remember, geography is the study of the features of the earth, right? So either the physical features, mountains, lakes, deserts, all those kind of things, but also cultural ones, okay? People, where they live, languages they speak, how they move and travel. We'll get into all that later. But the first thing we talk about is location, okay? So that asks the question, or answers the question, where is it? Now, location. There's 2 types of location. There's absolute location and there's relative location. Every point on the Earth's surface has an absolute location, also has a relative location. Okay, let's talk about absolute first. Okay, there are what we call lines of latitude and longitude. Okay, basically it's imaginary lines that are on the Earth. Okay, let's skip that one real quick. Going across the Earth's surface that basically help us to find different spots on the Earth's surface. Okay. So for example, if I've never been to a restaurant before, what do? I type it into Google. Google takes me to Google Maps. It pops up with the address, and I can use my GPS, right, to get to that restaurant, because you guys know I love to eat. That address, okay, that's an absolute location. That's an exact spot. And it uses GPS coordinates, which relies on latitude and longitude. Okay, and the use of satellites to basically pinpoint exactly where that restaurant is. So if I want to go to Underdogs, okay, down there on Paxton Street, if I don't know how to get there, I'm going to have to find the address. I'm going to have to type it in Google, into my Google Maps, okay, or Apple Maps for you eye people. And it's going to use these imaginary lines called latitude and longitude in that technology, in that cell phone or GPS that you're using, to find that exact location of Underdogs, exactly where it is on the Earth's surface. Okay, so we first have these lines of latitude. Now, when you think latitude, I want you to think like rungs of a ladder. So if somebody's climbing up a ladder to get on a roof or to change a light bulb or do something where they need to get up high. Okay, those ladder rungs run like this horizontally. Okay, if you look at the screen here, you see we've got lines of latitude around the Earth's surface. Now, when you're walking around the Earth, you don't see these lines. Okay, they're imaginary. We've basically made them up. Okay, and it starts here at 0 degrees. That's the equator. I want you to think about the equator like the Earth's belt. Okay, and the Earth's got to keep its pants up. Okay, it's got a dress code. So we've got the equator. That's kind of 0. That's our starting point. And as we go north, the degrees go up in number, but we say degrees north. So for example, this is Florida right down here. Okay, it's about 30 degrees north. Okay, that's the latitude. It runs right along that imaginary line. That line also goes through Africa, Asia, and other parts of the world. As we go south of the equator, towards the South Pole, the degrees also go up, but we call them degrees south. Okay, so Brazil, for example, right over here, 15 degrees south of the equator. Now that is latitude. Longitude goes the other way. Okay, when you see here longitude, I want you to think long, almost like somebody's got long hair that starts on the top of their head and runs down their back, right? So here we've got the hair on the top of the Earth, and it is running down. Okay, so it goes from north to south, but these actually, these lines, they measure degrees east and west. Okay, so for example, we've got this imaginary line right here, the 0 point called the prime meridian. So that's considered 0 degrees east and west. That's our starting point. Well, as we move east, okay, over here towards the rest of Africa and Asia and parts of Europe, the degrees go up, and we call them, degrees east. Okay, but as we move west, over here towards like the United States and Central America and Mexico and South America, we call these degrees west. Okay, and we see they also go up. So absolute location, we're going to use these imaginary lines, this grid that we put on the Earth, and we're going to use satellites and maps and compasses and all that kind of stuff to find where these places are. Okay. Now there's another type of location, and it's called relative location. So relative location is when we use other places and we compare them to find out where things are. So if I ask you, hey, where's Underdog? How do I get there? You might not say it's at 39 degrees north by whatever degrees west. You probably don't know that information. You probably don't know the exact address. You might be able to say Paxton Street, but you don't know what number it is, right? So we may not know the absolute location, but we can find things using relative location. So I want to get to Underdog. You might say, hey, go down by the mall, and if you drive towards the city or drive towards the river, you'll see it's on your right. It's right across from like the McDonald's and the Turkey Hill and all that stuff that's down there. Okay. For example, if I say, hey, how do I get to Tri-C Elementary School? You may say, oh, well, if you're already at Sweetwater Middle School, you're going to make a left here at this house and a right here onto this street. The Turkey Hill is either in the right direction or wrong direction. You use different landmarks in different places to kind of show us where to go. Okay, so that's relative location. So for example, if we've got Pennsylvania here, we might say, I wish I'd picked a map that had, I wanted the counties on here, but I wish I'd picked one that had states on here because New York's right above Pennsylvania. So what I did right there is I told you where New York was, and I said it's right above Pennsylvania, or New Jersey is to the east of Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm using Pennsylvania, and you live there, so you know where it is, and I'm telling you where other things are. I'm relating them. Okay, I'm comparing them. Or if we break it down on counties, right? This is Dauphin County right here. This is where we live. I might say, hey, Dauphin County is north of York County, right? So if you can find York on the map, you can find Dauphin based on what I just told you. Or I might say Erie is way up north, and it is going to be west of Warren County. Okay, so if maybe you were from Warren County, you would kind of say, oh, well, I got to head this direction in general if I'm going to hit Erie, right? Or some big cities. We've got Philadelphia down here. Okay, I might say, hey, Philadelphia is southeast of Dauphin County of Harrisburg, where we live. Or Pittsburgh is west, okay, out here of where we live. So they're relating them. So I could give you Pennsylvania's coordinates, or I could tell you, hey, it's north of Maryland, or it's east of Ohio, that kind of thing. So absolute, the exact spot on the earth. Relative is using other places and relating them, comparing them to figure out where something is. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Check out the Canvas page for any additional assignments. If you've got questions, shoot me an email, and I'll catch you guys later.